Hello, car people. I'm sure you know who this is. This is John from John's Barn. How you doing? I'm John. This is the barn that we're all getting to know and sometimes love or hate. There's the 65 GTO, the rotisserie restored points car that was bought, I believe, through Meckham or Barrett Jackson. That supposedly had $10,000 in the engine and was one of the worst builds I've ever seen in my life. Everything's back on that now, folks. The stroker kit, we're going from 389 to 453. Eagle crank and rods, DSS race pistons, King bearings, Howard hydraulic roller cam. Going with about 480 lift, about 290 and change in duration. This guy is, I know people are going, oh, go bigger, go bigger. He's going to drive this car. This guy's 65 years old, and he wants to just 0 to 70 the car. He's got 2 Corvettes. They've never been over the posted speed limit on the expressway, from what I understand. He just wants that snappy feeling from back when he was, in his 20s, and he had a GTO, and it was fast, I guess. And this one was not fast, which was really surprising. It was a slug, tri-power 4-speed car that ran like a passenger car 4-barrel motor. So that's on the agenda. Everything's back. That's going together real soon. It'll be on the trusty rusty engine stand. Yes, the floor is going in as soon as weather breaks. So we were going to get it in last fall. It didn't work out. He got sick, actually. Lost 2 workers. And I had some things that I had to take care of. I had some family matters I had to take care of. And we were involved in working on the house. I think I did cover last year. There was a fire in the house, small one, burned up the kitchen a little bit. So I was going to spend a couple days here and a couple days there. Next thing I know, we were in there most of the time. Plus, I've got some old parts cars, donor cars that are at my friend's place on his property, and I decided I want to get rid of these things. It's just stupid to take what's good off them and get rid of them. So all are gone, but 3, I think, 3 or 4, and 3 of them are here. I drug them back here, and we're playing with them through the winter when I get a chance. None of them have anything good on them, but just a few odds and ends, and they're going to be going bye-bye. But today I'm going to help the Chevy guys, the truck guys. We've got a 2022 Chevy Silverado HD 2500. It's a gas truck, and a friend of mine owns a business, and his trucks, for the most part, are diesels. He bought this the winter of 2021, 2022. If you remember right, it was really hard to get vehicles. They were charging you, I heard as much as $10,000 over sticker for a higher end truck, which was ridiculous. And he had to have a truck. One was stolen, one was wrecked, if I remember right. He had to have a truck, so he bought this thing, which he hates. And it's, number one, it's a 4-door long bed with toolboxes on the side, and it tows 8, 10, 14,000 pounds, and it don't like it. It doesn't have the performance gearing in the back. It's got the standard gearing. I think it's a 342 or... I knew last week. I know that I had to call a dealership on something, and it does not have the optional lower gear ratio, which would have helped it immensely. But the trans is starting to go bad, which all of these are, I guess. And he was told by the service guy, yes, your transmission is shuddering and it is failing. To which he replied, okay, I'll leave it here, and when the transmission's in it, call me, because there's a bulletin on it. They are replacing them. To which the service guy said, I can't do that. It has to fail. To which his response was, it failed. And to which the service guy's response was, no, it's failing. When it has failed, then General Motors will put a transmission in your truck. So his response was, so I'm going to be on the job site, and my worker's going to be going across a muddy construction site, towing a trailer, and it's going to take a crap. And we're going to have to unhook it, and I'm going to have to call a wrecker who's going to have to drive through a muddy construction site and tow my filthy truck in here for a transmission. To which the service guy responded, unfortunately, yeah, that's the deal. So he's beyond mad. I guess come warm weather, this thing is going to go bye-bye, because he counts on reliability. He owns a very, very busy steel company. They put up those great big buildings that we all know and love that house things like Amazon and all this other stuff. So he can't afford to have something break down. So they said it needed a transmission and transfer case and maintenance. It's got 40,000 miles, and they wanted. I'm not going to say. If I would have been eating a sandwich, I probably would have choked. So I said, bring it over here and it'll be taken care of. So I want to cover how you drain, how you fill, and how you check a 6L90 transmission. Because if it wasn't for the fact that I did one, a friend of mine has an off-road that has a 6L90 in it. And it's a couple years older, but his was right when they stopped using dipsticks, just like this thing. No dipstick tube. Bright idea. Job security, folks. And I remember we had his up on a hoist, and he called the dealership. He's like, how do I do this? The dealership says, oh, there's a rubber plug, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a small bolt at the back of the pan, and with it running at operating temperature, you keep filling it until it trickles out of that hole, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we did that, enough said. So I remembered that. I YouTubed it, and about 15 minutes into it, not being able to find what I was looking for, I got guys that were, under a truck, and there was a tube up in the transmission. They were filling it, and they had this 10 millimeter bolt out, waiting for it to trickle out. It's got to be running in park at operating temperature, so on and so forth. And I'm thinking, okay, one video says pull an Allen head plug out of the side of the trans. This is not one of those. Another guy says you do this. That's not one of this. So I'm seeing these guys, and they're burning their hands underneath the truck by putting their hand between the exhaust and the transmission, and they're removing this shield, which I'll show you, and going through all this to fill it. And so I thought I would make a quick video here to show my way of doing it, which I think works pretty damn good. And it took me about 6.5 minutes to pull one wheel and about 10 screws and take out the felt style inner fender well, and it's right there in your face. So here we go. Here is said truck. Okay, as you can see, the wheel's off. Okay, what we've got here is, we're inside here, folks. We've got the wheelhouse out. Very easy to do. All these little tiny screws like that right there. That's the clips. They're real small torques. I just use my 1/4 inch drive. Zing zing, out they come. Okay, are you ready? Let me get the good old trusty rusty flashlight in there. And I'm gonna show you. Right there. Right there. See that plug? Right there. You pull that plug out. I used this. You pull the top of this up, and it pulls it out of a rubber like plunger. When you lift the top of it up, it releases the pressure. When you push that back down, it swells the rubber plug up, holding it into the hole. This is the there is the heat shield that everyone is taking off, that you don't have to take off, people. This right there. Don't take it off. Then this is what you do. with it running at operating temperature. I'm done, so that's why the truck is low. There's your transmission pan. There's that shield right there that you don't need to take off. Right back here. Right there. You see that bolt? There's a little sticker beside it. With this truck running, you'll take that bolt out. Running, operating temperature, in park. And as soon as it starts to trickle out, you're good to go. I'm upside down, folks, so bear with me. I've had this truck up and down about 4 times doing different things on it. So, it's actually quite a bit easier than they would lead you to believe it is. So, as I said before, you can see that heat shield right there. And you can see the plug. Actually, you can see it real good even from right here. There it is. Now, if you want to pull that shield, I think it's 2 or 3 8mm or 10mm. Looks like to me like maybe self tappers, maybe fine thread. You pull those out, and then maybe you'll see it from underneath. But as you can see, there's not a lot of room between the exhaust and that transmission, and there's a whole lot of room. Well, sorry about that. There's a whole lot of room here. I mean, I filled that so easily that we laughed about it. You know, use the trusty rusty $19 pumpola. My electric one decided not to, I think the seal went out because it just, the last time I used it, we got about halfway through and it just stopped making vacuum. So I'm gonna buy another one. But in the meantime, that works fine. I mean, I had a case of fluid in it because I took the line off it, and you know, I had a case of fluid in it in less than 10 minutes. I mean, we were doing one bottle. He was handing me a bottle after boom, 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 and we were done. So I just wanted to cover that. The suggestion even that the service guy said was to put, if he was going to do the trans maintenance himself, to put a bottle of there's an anti-shudder they have that would temporarily help it, which I put 2 bottles in. Actually, you can put 2 bottles in. I talked to one of my friends up at the Chevy dealership. He said actually most of the time that's what they do if they got one that's on its way out. I don't know what the problem is with these transmissions, folks, but the pan was pulled. It's got a new filter. It was clean inside, not a bunch of metal. I don't understand what's going wrong with them. It's almost like usually when you have a shudder, you lose in fluid pressure. So I had been told by someone that they don't have adequate fluid pressure, which pretty much eats them up. And I can imagine that there is some stuff in the filter. I'm not about to cut it apart. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, I wanted to cover that for you guys and say hi. Haven't been on in a while. I need a haircut. I'll be taking care of that here pretty soon. But the GTO is going to, that engine's going to be going together next week. And doing it down the road at a friend's house so it's nice and clean. And bringing it back here, bolt on the tri-power intake, and it goes on the stand, and we're going to start her up and here at Roar. And there's I've got 6 or 7 blocks that are back from the machine shop, 9 sets of heads. I've got pistons, rods, cranks, bearings, rings for everything, plus 2 spares because there's 2 engines at the machine shop. A 63 421. I did a quick video on that. I added it in another video. It's a 63 421 HO tri-power 4-speed coated engine. It goes in my 63 Grand Prix that's in storage, covered up right now. That's a correct year, correct code, everything for that car. It has a real 421 4-speed car. And it was already 30 over, and it got wet in 2 cylinders. And it was in like an old hot rod, and there's still crosshatch marks in it. So, and it's got good pistons, and I don't want to go. One cylinder needs to go 60 over, so we're putting 2 sleeves in it. So that's getting done, and I've got a 65 389 4-barrel 4-speed coated engine, and I have everything for that. So we're gonna be putting. We're going to start getting stuff together, and in April, I guess, as soon as the frost levels, we haven't had a whole lot of cold weather. As long as it stays like this, and within the next month, we're going to have, we're going to be, into early spring. And from what me and Joe have been talking, he owns this company here, mid to end of April, he says, he's going to give me about 3 or 4 days heads up, and he's going to send a couple guys over, and I have more than enough people that I can count on that do things like this, and we're going to empty this mess out. And only about a third of it's going back in. Going to be put up on racks. There's going to be racks across this wall. Engines, transmissions, and parts and stuff are going to be going on the racks, and I've got a 24 by 28 carport that's outside that's going behind this, that's going to be married behind this, and tools and air compressors going in there, along with all this little stuff that I may need, that I need around. The rest of it is either going to be put in the back barn by the pond, or it's going to be gone. Not stepping over things anymore. The only reason this place is like this, folks, is because I built this barn, and 4 days before the cement truck was due to show up, our wonderful governor, I'm not going to touch on that subject, decided to shut down Michigan, and I didn't get my floor, and everything was outside, on tarps, under tarps, on my trailers. All 3 trailers were full. I had an old rusty box truck I bought with no door in the back. There was stuff in it. What a disaster. So after about a month and a half and worrying about having things start to get ruined, I drug everything in here, and it just piled this barn full to I couldn't work in it for almost a year. And then I decided to start going through things and getting rid of things I didn't need and organizing, and now at least I can work in here. Don't like it this way. When I put an engine together, it goes together down the road. A friend of mine has a pole barn, and he was lucky. He got his done about 3 weeks before Michigan got Deluxe put on it. So we've known each other for 39 years. So I go over there and we clean it all up and put them up on the bench, get the guts in them, and put the pan on, tape them up, and bring them back here and put a plastic bag over them. And then from that point on, it just takes me a few hours, and they're together and they go on the engine stand. So once my floor is in and the door is shut, then it's going to be start to finish here, which is how it should be. So thanks for watching. You can subscribe. You have any questions, feel free to ask. I just thought I'd cover this because it was kind of odd. I went through this and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to make a video in case somebody decides, hey, I want to work on my truck and I can't figure it out. Well, now you can figure it out. So that's where we're at, folks. Signing off. This is John. Thanks again for coming. And this is John's Barn. And take care. God bless. Thanks for showing up. See ya.